So today we are going to be running down our top Michael Jackson songs. I wanted it to be top 5 so that it wouldn't last forever, but when I went to write down my favorite songs, I was like, I can't do just 5. It was really, really impossible to just do 5. So we expanded it to 10, and we're going to try to, run through them pretty quickly so that we're not here all day. But it should be fun. Thanks. Yeah, I'm wearing this my original Dangerous tour jacket. Look at this. I'll show you the back. Can you see that? And this is the same exact jacket that I'm wearing in this picture. Yeah, this picture was taken in 1992. So this jacket is 28 years old. This is the first time I've worn it since the 90s. It feels really good to wear. It feels like brings back memories just putting it on. Those were such fun times. So all right, let's see. I'm gonna add in my friend from the UK here, who, I don't know if you saw my interview with him, but it's amazing. If you haven't seen it, go to his YouTube channel, which he'll tell you what it is when I put him on. But it's one of the best interviews I've ever done because he asks questions that no one has ever asked. And Nnamdi from the UK. He's gonna come on and we're gonna do a battle of our favorite MJ songs, and I want you guys to chime in too. Let us know what your songs are, if you agree with us, and if you don't, let us know why, or if you do, also let us know why. It should be fun.
Hey, how you doing?
What time is it there in London? You're not in London, right? You're just in the UK. Where are you in the UK?
Yeah. I'm in a place called Kent, which is south of London, but it's about an hour away from London. Yeah, but it's about 10:20 or so at night.
Okay, not bad. So, what is your 10th favorite Michael song?
Okay, so I went from a track that was released on an album from 1991. It was co-produced by my favorite producer, which is Teddy Riley, and it was the Dangerous, the single. And I went with that. It was, it was such the intro, the beats, the whole arrangement. It was something. I mean, he had good songs on the album, but that was one that really. And then I actually liked the video that he did, and he performed that on MTV, and he did it on his tour. So it was such a powerful track. I think he liked it as well, and he actually named his album after it. So yeah, Dangerous was snuck into my number 10.
Great song. That whole album is my favorite album. And
it is? Okay.
Not my favorite tour, but my favorite album.
Okay.
So my 10th favorite song is Someone Put Your Hand Out, which is also from the Dangerous era, but it was unreleased.
Oh.
And I feel it should have been on the album because first time I heard that song, it just blew me away. It's one of the most beautiful love songs that Michael has ever recorded, and I love it. The lyrics just touched me in the heart. Someone Put Your Hand Out. Have you heard it?
Wow. Once. But I'd probably go back I'll go back and listen to it again actually because it wasn't on the album. I think it's one of the things where you don't necessarily think, is it really his or what? Why didn't he put it on there? But I will go back and listen to it. It's actually good. I'll go back and listen to it.
Pepsi did a contest and they had that single as a cassette that you could win. So that was how they put it out. It wasn't on the album, but it was released because Pepsi did some sort of contest for it.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'll go back and look at that.
You should. Okay, what's your number 9?
So number 9 comes from an album back in '87, produced by his longtime collaborator, Quincy Jones. And he didn't write the song, but it was I think when he performed that at the Grammy, and this is Man in the Mirror.
Oh, Saida.
His
Say it again.
yes, say it again. Yeah, they performed that at the Grammys. I think in '88, and it was. I don't know if he seemed so emotional when he performed it, and he did have the James Brown sort of thing where the background singers try to pick him back up and stuff. But it's it is a song for today. It's one of the songs that it's an even especially what's happening in the States and around the world is about looking into yourself and making that difference. So such a powerful track, such a powerful, and it's one of the things that it doesn't matter who wrote it. I think it's how he performed it. So it wasn't that anyone could write the song, but they couldn't have delivered it like he did. So that's it's amazing. That's as classic as that is. That's only my number 9 track.
Okay, and guys, if you can guess what my top 5 or 3 favorite songs are, I saw Starry Inez. You were good. She guessed some good songs, but if you can guess what mine are, put it here, and we'll see if you're right. We'll see how well you know me. My number 9 is Heartbreak Hotel by the Jacksons. I love that song. It's always been like one of my favorites by them. It's incredible. I attended the Triumph tour, so I saw him do that live, and of course he did it live during the Bad tour too, and I think the Dangerous tour in the beginning, maybe, can't remember, but that's one of my favorites. It tells a story. It's the piano at the end is just gorgeous, and his voice is amazing. I love it. So that's number 9. Okay, number 8.
Yeah. Well, they actually Heavy D and the Boys did a remix of that in "Oh You're on My Mind" featuring Jodeci. So
really?
I heard that version first. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, and so and then I realized that it was actually the Jackson song. So I love the song. And especially as Heavy D sort of did a remix of it, but my number 8 is goodness. This was from his Off the Wall, which was released in '79, and Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. And I think it's just it is such an upbeat track. It is such and it reminds me of childhood. Just every time we went to a party, when that this was a song that everybody had to play, every DJ had to play it, and it was just him showcasing his ability to dance and being just the leading guy. So that's just a timeless classic, and he just seemed so happy performing that.
Yeah, it's definitely one of his best songs ever. From my number 8 is "Shake Your Body" by the Jacksons.
Okay.
Whenever I hear that song, I get so happy. His voice is just so infectious, and it's just a happy song. I love it. His voice is just so powerful on that song, even though it's a fast song, but it's great.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, okay, number 7. What's your number 7 song?
So they've just released, Spike Lee has just done an updated video for this song, and it is "They Don't Care About Us."
I haven't seen it. Did they add like anything new to it?
It just came, it just got released within the last hour on the Michael Jackson YouTube channel, and it was they took the prison video and the Spike Lee Rio video, and then they got scenes from protests around the world.
Oh, cool.
So the Black Lives Matter protests. So they've just done a 2020 version of that. So it's just within the last hour, it's just been released. So it's still brand new.
That's perfect.
So I like this. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was really. Yeah, so that sort of thing. But I did pick the version I did pick of that was the remix by Trackmasters, and they did a lot of stuff for LL Cool J and Puff Daddy. And it featured the Ill and Al Scratch. There's a rap in it. It was a very R&B hip hop version of "They Don't Care About Anything."
Wow. Yeah, Michael didn't really like remixes, to be honest, because he liked what he did, and then but back in those days, remixes were the thing. Like you had to have a remix from all of these same remix artists, I guess you can call them.
That was good stuff.
I have a story about the They Don't Care About Us video. I wrote it on my in a post on my Instagram. At the end of the video, he does sign language. And I think in the new version,
Oh,
someone told me that they added the sign language back in because they had taken that sign language part out because he was saying some things that were offensive, I guess,
oh,
internationally. And so Sony freaked out and they made him take out that sign language ending part. And then when we were doing Ghosts, he taught me and the kids that sign language. He was like, yeah, I did this sign language in my video. And sometimes I do this gesture on stage and I had no idea what it meant. And so he taught us the sign language and he taught the kids the sign language. And they were saying, so what does it mean, Michael? And he said, oh, it's something really bad. I'm not going to tell you. So he didn't tell them what it meant. And then I took him aside and I said, what does this sign language mean? And he said,
yeah.
It means F you.
Wow.
Yeah, but he said the word. And I was like, what? And then he said, wow, these kids are learning all this bad stuff on this video. And I said, and you're the one teaching them. And he said, you're right. I'm the one teaching them. So he didn't realize that he was the one who was, he was just so much fun and he was just so open. And sometimes he just forgot that, he was Michael Jackson and he couldn't just be that open. But it was.
But did he say who he was really trying to say to? Was it to the label or was it?
No. It was racism. They don't care about us. You know what it's about. And it was basically about racism.
Yeah.
F you to the system,
Okay.
That was a very angry video, and it's to this day, it's very timely and it's relevant. And that's what They Don't Care About Us, such a great and powerful song and video, because it's still relevant today, 25 years later. No, he was really upset and angry about the things that were going on in the world at that time. And he did this little sign language.
Okay.
That's what it meant, according to Michael.
Okay.
Number 7 for me is Happy by Michael when he was with the Jackson 5, when he was young.
Okay.
I think it's a theme song from Lady Sings the Blues, actually.
Okay.
You haven't heard that one either, have you? I can see from your face.
It's
Happy.
Yeah, you got a little bit. Yeah. So I would have heard them, but not my top 10 sort of heard them kind of thing. Yeah. So
Listen to Happy, and someone put your hand out. Happy.
Okay.
Na, 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 happy. La 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 la. Sadness have been beautiful.
I will listen to those ones. Don't worry about it.
Shame on you. You don't know these Michael songs. Okay, number 6. What's your number 6?
Yeah, so this one is from an album which I thought should have done much better than it did. Bad management, bad promotion, but it's from an Invincible album. And it really got played a lot on the R&B stations, and it was co-written by Andre Harris, who did a lot of work with Jill Scott. He's from Philadelphia and Jazzy Jeff, and it's called Butterflies. It was when he released that track, and I remember I was living in LA at the time, and I remember Steve Harvey was doing his radio station out in LA, always used to play it because he even had Michael on the radio or call into, I can't remember the name of this. Yeah, Power. So I can't remember the station.
He wasn't on Power 106.
He wasn't on Power.
92.3 The Beat or something.
The Beat, it was the Beat. Yeah, he was on the Beat. So he had Michael call in and he was talking. But this was like Michael returning to She's Out of My Life kind of thing. So Butterflies, I wish he did a video of it.
I know.
I wish, that was such a really tender. He did the hives. I think at that point he was, people like Maxwell and co would have wow, let's just give Michael space, because he actually shown that he can proper sing kind of thing.
Yeah, the girls from Floetry wrote that up.
Yeah, Floetry, Marsha, yeah. So she co-wrote that with Andre Harris, yeah.
Marsha's amazing. And little known fact, Marsha Ambrose, I guess that's how you say it, she was in House Party with me. She was an extra in House Party.
What?
And I was an extra in House Party.
Wow.
He was there, and there were several people who were extras in House Party. That Monica Calhoun, who starred in the movie The Best Man and some other movies, she was also an extra in House Party. So
Wow.
most people don't know that, but yeah, little
No.
known fact.
Oh. Yeah. What about
Okay,
yourself?
so we're on number 6. Oh, 6. Okay, I had to do a tie here. Chicago.
Okay.
Have you heard the song Chicago? Or no? You haven't, have you? Listen to Chicago. It was on. It's an unreleased song, but they released it on one of the albums that they put out after Michael passed away, and they remixed it.
Okay.
There's a rock version that I love. It's just so powerful. Chicago.
Wow.
And there's another song called She's Loving Me that is also great. Are those the same song? I can't remember, but both of those songs I love. And I had to tie it, which you've probably never heard this song either, We've Had Enough, which is also perfect for this time. Listen to We've Had Enough. This was from the Invincible album, or era, I should say. It didn't make the album for some odd reason, even though it's one of Michael's best songs ever in life. It's his best vocals, probably ever. Like his best vocals he ever did are on We've Had Enough. His vocals give me chills on this song. And
where was it released on an album or something, or?
It was on like a later, after he passed away, or maybe like the Michael Jackson Collection album, which has a lot of his unreleased demos and songs on it.
Okay.
We've Had Enough.
Okay.
And I don't know why they didn't. Invincible had a lot of great songs that were not put on the album that should have been. There are a lot of songs like Chicago, She's Loving Me, and We've Had Enough, that would have been, to me, a better fit for the album than some of the songs that did make the album, like The Lost Children. And I mean, there are several songs on I'll be honest, there's several songs on the Invincible album I have never listened to since it was released because I just don't like them. And I wish these other songs were on there, and it would have been his best album ever if he had put
probably
some
could
of
have,
these other songs on there, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, hey, I'm not the A&R person. I'm not so... Right. We've Had Enough is better than Privacy. I agree. I've never listened to Privacy in like 20 years since it came out. But We've Had Enough, I listen to all the time because it's a great song.
Okay. So my number 5 came from another one from his 91 album, the Dangerous album, and it was also produced by Mr. Teddy Riley. It's Remember the Time, but I chose the New Jack remix version of it because
of course.
the one that's in the video is nice, but the remix it just has a lot more of the drum in it, and it's almost as if what Teddy would have done if Michael had given him more space to do the track, because Teddy's he's speaking over it, and it was 91, so he was still coming out with Rum Shake and stuff, so it was that sort of vibe and stuff. And if you notice in the Remember the Time video, when they do the little break interlude and stuff, that's the part where he is that's the part where Ted parts from his remix, and that's my number 5.
Okay, my number 5. So we're in the top 5 now. I'm glad we got through this. Don't Stop Till You Get Enough.
Okay.
As you know, you love it too.
You got it.
It's
I had it 8.
Like,
you put it in 5. Yeah.
It's one of his best songs ever, and I put it in the top 5 because when I hear that song, if you're like out at a club or at a party, if that song comes on, you just have to get out on the dance floor and dance because it's just really amazing. And it was his first. I remember that's like that and Rock With You were like such huge singles from the Off the Wall album. The Off the Wall album is my second favorite album next to Dangerous. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And then I had to put it in a tie with a song that most people probably wouldn't pick, but I love it because it's autobiographical. It's one of his most revealing songs he's ever written. Michael usually didn't write a lot of songs that were like self-reflective of what he was going through in life. So this is why I love this song, because it's one of the few that is like that, and it's Morphine. Have you heard that song? No, you haven't.
No. Yeah,
That's
I
all.
have off the history album. Off the history album.
Morphine is on Blood on the Dance Floor album,
Oh,
which
okay,
is also one of my
jam,
favorite
jam,
albums, by the way, because Blood on the
yeah,
Dance Floor
jam.
has Superfly Sister, which I love, Brian Loren's song that he co-wrote with Michael. One of my, that I don't have it on my list, but Superfly Sister is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
And Morphine.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
deep, deep song.
Yeah, okay, maybe. Well, yeah. I didn't like when he went to Jam and Lewis on history and some of the things they did on yeah, they was too reminiscent of what they do for Janet.
Not this
I
song.
think
Morphine is something you've never heard before. Trust me, it's so unique. And he's talking about his life and his addiction to morphine, basically. And something else a lot of people don't know. I was reading the lyrics recently and in the past, and I realized that some of that song is about his marriage to Lisa Marie Presley.
wow.
Yeah, read the lyrics, or I don't know, the lyrics are wrong. Like everywhere I've seen the lyrics, they're all wrong. So don't rely on the lyrics that you see online, but it's deep. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I think most of us who would not have really known that he was addicted to morphine or any of those things until his passing. So you'd listen to a song and you'd just think he's just using an analogy or something like that. So I guess if you
Well,
didn't
I knew
know that
because I went through all that with him being part of management during that 1993 time when he was on the Dangerous tour. He canceled a lot of shows because of that, and he always had to call us to cancel because we were the ones. He would call in
to
sick
cancel
to
a whole
us.
show
Yeah, the
with
whole
almost
tour.
80,000 people sitting down waiting for goodness.
Well, like Michael would never call on days of the show. So I never heard from him on a day of a show unless he was going to call in sick. So whenever Michael called and it was the day of a show, I was like, oh, he's going to cancel, Yeah.
Wow.
It happened every time. And so I would be the first person that he would talk to whenever he had to cancel a show. And I would have to put him through to the manager, and the manager, who was my boss, would have to cancel. But it was because of this morphine
No.
addiction that he had, and he had to go to rehab for it. So that was like a major part of my life because I was so worried about him. And that song kind of reminds me of that. It wasn't a great time. It was actually a horrible time, but I like that he was very honest and raw in it. But the thing that a lot of people don't know is, in my opinion, is that a lot of it is about his marriage to Lisa. So that's why I like it.
Prior to '93, prior to the Joey Chandler stuff,
No, it was
struggle with?
because of the Geordie.
No, but prior to that, did he struggle with his sleep? Because you know him post and pre, so you're about to do is scary before the scandal. Was the morphine and sleep an issue then, or was it sort of afterwards where?
It started back when he got his hair burnt in 1984 he was taking it for pain, but he was okay. He was managing it. You would never know that he was in pain or anything was wrong until the Geordie Chandler allegations hit, and it became very evident. He would call and he would be slurring his words and just sound really bad, and we were so worried about him, and that's why he went to rehab, thankfully, and I guess that saved his life. But it was a struggle for him throughout his life, even after that. So morphine, you should listen to, because it's all about that.
Yeah. Okay. No. Well, so I mean that's well, I'll look into morphine and we'll try and go back onto some happier senses of
Yes.
Michael and
Number 4.
my number 4. Yeah. So this comes from '87, the Bad album, and and I don't know if it's the video, but it's Another Part of Me. It's just as upbeat, just a happy. You know, he's wearing this like a silver spacesuit when he's dancing on Wembley here in the UK when he was for the video. But it's just it's just such a happy song, just such an uplifting song. He, something he wrote himself. So yeah, it's a kind of, so I'm listening to songs where if I played it now, I would listen to it to the end and really connect to it. And so yeah, Another Part of Me is my number 4.
Okay, my number 4 is, let me see if I have some pictures here to show you what my number 4 is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that was, that's In the Closet, with another Teddy production.
In the Closet.
In the Closet, okay.
Number 4 for me. I could listen to that. I'll never forget the first time I heard it on the radio, when the song changes in the middle of the song, when he sings something about you, baby, and it comes out of nowhere. I don't know if you remember the very, very first time you heard it, but I do, because when that part comes on, it gave me chills. I was like, oh, where'd that come from? And, that song is just amazing, and the video is also great. I have I have the outtakes from that video that I had on my YouTube, but I had to take it down because whenever I put out unreleased things, it just causes havoc. Okay. But yeah, they shot that video in near Palm Springs, California, in the desert, this place called La Quinta, and so yeah, it's a I mean it was a strange. I didn't expect it from him, without the shirts and just with a and he was just there trying to be as sensual as he can, and I like the little shuffle dance he does towards the end of it, and his dancing and stuff. It was as I said, Teddy is my all-time favorite producer. So the fact that he did that, and it was really technical, the drums and the stuff like that. So yeah, really, that's a good one. The acapella version is hot, and it is. So if you listen to the acapella version in 8D, look up In the Closet acapella 8D and listen to it with headphones on. It'll blow your mind. I'm not kidding. Search YouTube In the Closet acapella 8D. You won't be sorry.
8D. Yeah. Okay, I'll put that down. 8D.
8D.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got to my number 3. Going back to the biggest album that ever was released, Thriller, and I wish he wrote this, but it was written by Rod Temperton. Baby Be Mine, and it is a fast love song. It's like it's the way he's able to deliver these sort of love R&B songs, and I think, and I wish he'd stayed true to that. And I know Quincy Jones was getting old and he couldn't continue producing them, but it was almost like Quincy pushed him to really connect vocally and stuff. And Baby Be Mine is such I don't know why he didn't release it, but God knows why. But that was,
it was released.
Just a beautiful. No videos for Baby Be Mine. I mean, maybe those days they'll put, but it's like the videos and stuff like that. But because I'm Thriller, he did, Billie Jean, Beat It, and Human Nature stuff. But Baby Be Mine didn't get released. But it was, Rod was a genius. Yeah, beautiful songwriter. And he just probably knew how to write for Michael. And I guess as Michael got more savvy in the industry, he realized, I best rewrite my own songs because, it makes a big difference when you write your own songs and release them and with royalties and stuff. But, I
think from the Thriller album, I don't have any songs from the Thriller album on my top 10, but Human Nature is probably my favorite. Well, Billie Jean and Human Nature are my favorite from that album. Maybe mine. I liked it when it came out in the 80s, but to me, and I could be wrong here, but to me, it sounds like they sped up his voice because it sounds like his voice is like higher and more, I don't know, like young than it actually is. You never noticed that?
Yeah, what? No, no. I think. Dude, I think one of the things with a Quincy produced track was was all the it's almost like he recorded it with a live instrument and stuff. So
Yeah.
you're mixing his voice with the instruments, with the lyrics. It's just such a perfect blend. Um, but because it was it's a love song. I mean, in those days, love songs were slowed down and stuff like that. But it's singing an upbeat love song, and it just yeah. They can't make that kind of track today. That's the thing.
That's
You
true.
just can't make that kind of track today. Yes, yes. Thank you. Baby Mine is an underrated record, but
Some people
yeah,
agree with you. I don't agree with you on that one, but it's a
okay,
good song. It's just not one of my
okay,
favorites. I just don't like that it
okay,
sounds kind of sped up. I don't know.
okay.
Because his
What
voice
about
is a little
yourself?
bit deeper than that. But anyway, okay, number three is, well, my number three is With a Child's Heart from
You just come
Michael's.
up with stuff that you just. Where's that one
With a
from?
Child's Heart is like very popular. You've never heard With a Child's Heart? Come on.
I'm writing it down. With a
Wow.
child's heart.
He only knows like the Thriller, the Off the Wall, Invincible album. I'm going deep, okay? With the Child's Heart.
Okay.
That's something you
Okay.
should know. That's like one of his favorite, I mean, not favorite, but famous solo songs as a child, With a Child's Heart.
Oh, so when he was back in the
That's a
pre-Sony.
five. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful song.
Okay.
Okay, number two. Oh, we're up to our last two songs. What is
Yeah.
number two?
Now, I deliberately did not want to go back into J5 and Jackson's. I thought,
Because you don't
I
know
thought that would be
them.
such.
That's why. Because you don't know those
Yeah.
songs.
No, there was some real, I'll Be There and got to be there, Ben. So there's a lot of powerful ones back in there. But I just thought, I wanted to to stick with his stuff. But my number two, which is back on the Invincible album, another track produced by Teddy Riley, is Heaven Can Wait. Um, it is such it was probably his best song on that album. And actually, it was released on the radio. But without a video, but it was released on written radio. And tell the angels know if it's it is. I wish he had done that. That was just a powerful track, such a beautiful delivery, almost as better than Butterflies.
Hmm.
It's yeah,
I'm
it's
kind of
actually better
partial
than
to Whatever Happens from the Invincible album.
yeah. With Carlos. I know that's another Teddy Riley production. But
Yeah.
and then of
His
course
voice.
he's
His voice is so deep on those Invincible songs and raw, especially Whatever Happens and Heaven Can Wait as well. It's just
yeah.
his voice is raw, and that's what I like about those particular songs. As I said, there are some songs on Invincible I literally hate. Like I don't ever want to see them in my life again. Like
Yeah, yeah.
The Lost Children. I couldn't sing The Lost Children to you if you paid me $1 million because I haven't listened to them since the album came out. I don't need
Yeah,
privacy.
yeah.
Privacy is actually not bad. I heard like an a cappella version of Privacy, and his vocals are just so powerful on that song.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my number two.
I mean, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say because somebody mentioned 2000 watts, and actually that's another one produced by Teddy, and it actually was written by Tyrese and Teddy, who was going to be on Tyrese's
Oh, right,
album.
yeah.
But when Michael heard it, he says, I need to have that," and it's very strong. His voice, I've never heard it so deep.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe those of you who know him could say, "Yeah, that's he was," but he was. I actually didn't think he was on the track because it was very, almost like he was. Yeah,
Didn't
he
sound
he
like
was.
him.
It didn't sound like him, but it was.
My number 2 is Dirty
Oh,
Diana.
drummer.
Dirty Diana. It used to be my number 1, but another song took over my number 1. Dirty Diana. Ugh. It tells a story. I like Michael songs that tell a story, like Billie Jean.
Okay.
In concert, when he did this concert during the Bad tour live, completely live, it just blew me away. And you can find that on YouTube. I think the Rome, Michael singing, doing it in Rome, and I think Wembley as well. That's on YouTube. Michael doing that live is just like one of the most amazing things you'll ever see. It's just him and a microphone and his voice.
Wow.
And then Jennifer Batten comes out with the guitar. But it is so powerful. And his voice, the lyrics. When we first heard, I will never forget, I was a teenager when I first heard it. And we all thought it was about Diana Ross, which it might.
And I was going to ask you about that. Okay, so it wasn't really sure about her, or what was it? It wasn't about Diana Ross, or who was it?
He ever said it was about. That wouldn't have been very nice for him to say that it actually was about her. Okay. I think we all know it probably was. But it's not that nice of a song. But that's what we thought at the time. And
yeah,
because Diana, he loved Diana. He wouldn't name a song Diana if it wasn't about her, because he really loved her. So. But it also was about the groupies. It was like a mix, I think he liked to do a lot of things that could be taken both ways. You might think, oh, it's about Diana Ross, but no, it's about groupies. So you couldn't ever really put your finger on what it was about, and he did that on purpose. But that's one of the reasons I love the song so much. He put so much passion into it, and it tells a story. And he can relate to it because it's about being on the road with all the groupies coming at him. And this girl, Diana, who just tempted him, and he couldn't resist, in the end. That's what the story was about. He tried to resist, but he couldn't. So. But
I guess I would have thought it'd be quite difficult to get close to him with all the entourage and security.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have thought he lived in a bubble. Just because he was trying to maintain this image, especially he was doing a lot of stuff with Disney, Captain EO and stuff. But how would you told a story about how you with the help of Emmanuel Lewis got into his party back in there and stuff.
Yeah.
But did you think he could have just picked women here and let's just go, or just no? I mean, or.
He could have, but he didn't. He wasn't that type of person. That's what I loved about him. He wasn't your typical rock star who was out, just getting with every groupie that came at him, because so many were coming at him, and he was just not your typical guy like that. And that's what made him special. That's what made him Michael Jackson. He wasn't out there doing that. But yeah, he could have. I mean, if I got into his hotel room for a party, it could be done, but his bodyguard was picking and choosing. I had to go through his bodyguard in order to be let into his hotel suite for the Bad tour after party. So yeah, it's possible. He wasn't that untouchable if you knew where he was, because he was so down to earth and friendly. I feel like he was accessible because he was on tour a lot, and if you knew where he was and you were able to meet him, he was extremely friendly and open. And there were a group of fans, like in the later Invincible years, who just followed him around everywhere. And they have all kinds of pictures with him because he was so, open, and, let them take pictures and let them into places, Neverland and places like that. He was very friendly and open with his fans. He felt like his fans were his friends, and that's what made him so great, and it's why he still has so many fans today.
Yeah, I think the one thing that a lot of us will always say, and his voice now, the Michael that the public and world will know is very high pitched and very, almost very shy and giggly. But then you hear people who know him, from Eddie Murphy to Chris Tucker and even Teddy Riley have said that he's his voice can actually, when you talk to him, it's a little bit deeper, more and stuff. But when you've probably seen both sides. I mean, when he's without the guard, there's no one recording. He's just normal. How would you say his voice normally was?
It wasn't high like in the Thriller era. You remember when I don't know if you remember, if you're too young, but when he accepted awards for Thriller, like on the American Music Awards and the Grammys, he had a very high voice. That was fake. That his voice was not high like that. His voice wasn't high like that. But in the 2000s, he started talking in his normal voice, and that's the voice that I would hear, because I spoke to him on the phone every single day for like 5 or 6 years during the 90s, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. So I heard his voice in all different incarnations, and I also did Ghosts with him, where he played the mayor, where he had this deeper voice where he was acting. So I spent a month with Michael with that voice, but then he would switch back to his Michael voice. So I would say, on a day-to-day basis, it's not like he had a Barry White deep voice. All of the Jacksons have a soft voice. It just wasn't as high as that young Thriller era. If you can understand what I'm saying, if you watch his interviews or speeches during the 2000s era, you'll hear his natural voice, and that's the voice that I had gotten used to. And it's not high; it's just like it's soft, but it's not high, And actually, when I used to talk to Michael on the phone, his voice was often very scratchy. That was like the Michael voice that I knew. It was scratchy a lot. And sometimes he sounded really just sad. But then when he was happy, it would be a lot more upbeat and not scratchy and more like, da-da-da-da-da. He had different moods, and the moods that he had, it affected his voice. So he didn't just keep one voice throughout the days of the years. It changed from day to day. And he's a singer, he's a vocalist. So of course, he would sometimes be hoarse. He would sometimes have a scratchy voice. Sometimes he would speak in a higher register. But his normal voice is the one that you heard like in the 2000s era. Okay.
But it's funny because somebody mentioned it. All of the Jacksons, well, not all of them, but Jackie, Jermaine, even Janet, they all had that sort of softly spoken sort of and maybe it's part of the stuff that their dad sort of trained them, not to be overly aggressive.
I spent time with his dad, and he has a soft voice too. He didn't have like a deep voice. It was kind of like soft. That's just, and their mother had a soft sort of high voice. That's just how it was. It wasn't fake. I don't like it when people are like, oh, they're faking everything. They just think everything's fake. But no, that was, I talked to this man every day, and it wasn't like when I talked to him, I'd be like, oh my God, Michael, your voice is so deep. No, it was the Michael voice you're used to. It just wasn't that high,
Yeah, and I guess for us who only see him on TV and stuff, we don't know what we're getting. And I can imagine, James Earl Jones will not be saying this is CNN.
No.
Or, when he's talking at home, he's probably relaxed and chilled, or Morgan Freeman. But when they're in front of camera stuff, they have to put on a particular voice. And I remember Will Smith doing an interview saying how he had to learn when he was doing interviews and speaking in public how to speak, and he got a coach to give him pronunciation. So not how he speaks in public, how he might speak with his family and friends. So. Yeah, but I guess with Michael, it's just that all of us would just assume that high-pitched Michael from the Thriller ages and stuff like that.
Yeah, that wasn't the real voice. It was later on, like even like when he did the Super Bowl in the early 90s, he had kind of a deep voice.
Yes, that was almost a shock. I almost thought, who's this guy with a microphone? He has a deep voice. When he's introducing Heal the World,
right.
And then I was like, then he puts down the mic and then he sings something sort of right back. I was like, well, okay, who is Michael? Yeah.
But he didn't. So he didn't really talk in that deep voice. Like I've talked to him on the phone a lot, and he didn't have like that deep Super Bowl voice usually. It was usually more like soft and scratchy, I would say. Just it was always just like I wouldn't even say soft, just like it was sexy. It was a sexy voice because it was always like just like, you know, kind of like hoarse sometimes and scratchy. But I think a lot of times when he would call me, sometimes, you know, he would be slurring his words. And this was during that 93 period, that because when I was dealing with him, it was that whole 90s period. So he was going through some things. And sometimes he would call me when he was like about to try to go to sleep. So it was, you know, his voice would be like a bedroom type of voice. I don't mean to be, you know, sexy about this. But that was just the mood that I would get from his voice a lot of times. So.
Okay. Well, you know, we all celebrated his birthday, and I think
here? Okay, number one.
no. Yeah, coffee. But no, but I think it's the you know, we've woken up to lots of sad news about people passing and stuff, and I think, you know, every day this 2020 has been a time of just hearing a lot of negativity, and I think if you're on social media, you just can't help but not see negativity being pushed down. So I think having conversations about Michael in this way, fun things, is probably good to change the mood, because if not, you're just going to be inundated with negativity. But so having and reminiscing on some of the good times is really important and stuff.
Yeah.
But my number one song, which when we did the interview, and I asked you about your number one song, which was strange, and then you caught me off guard, because normally I'm interviewing and I'm always asking the question. So when you asked me, I was like, oh, I used to like Dangerous, and I just forgot what my number one song, favorites, not just a Michael song, but my favorite song itself. So this isn't just my number one Michael Jackson song. This is like if I was to pick any song ever, you know, going onto the moon, and they said, okay, give me a song that you're going to take, and if that's the last song you're ever going to hear, it would be The Lady in My Life. Yes, The Lady in My Life. The Lady in My Life.
Okay.
The Lady in My Life. It is, oh goodness. As I said, I do not even listen to the song that often. So I listened to it after we had the interview, and I haven't listened to it again, because it's like something so precious that I can't overcook it. Mm-hmm. I listened to it, and I said, my goodness, how did this guy, you know, he is, yes, such tender, such a, yeah, and you know, and one thing, when I played, there's so many images, I can almost become very creative and think, okay, what can I do with this? It probably could have been the best wedding song ever. It could have been, you know, should have put a video out on it, and you know, if I was a filmmaker myself, I would have made a video for him and do it. But it is written by the great Rod Temperton. Again, he just knew how to get the right vocals with Quincy producing it, and it's just the most powerful song you ever heard. LL and Boyz II Men did a remake called Hey Lover, which was great. But yeah, that's my all-time favorite song ever, you know, without a doubt. So, and that is The Lady in My Life.
For me, Lady in My Life, okay, I'm going to get gonna get attacked here, but Lady in My Life is not one of my favorite songs, simply because he didn't write it. Well, that's one of the reasons. I like Michael's songs that he wrote. To me, I can't really, Man in the Mirror, you know, I have to give to him because he sung that with so much passion. He didn't write that song, but it feels like he wrote that song because it's, you know, these words that he would say. That's a brilliant song. But Lady in My Life, he didn't write. And I feel like his voice, again, it sounds like he has a cold on, like, when he's singing the verses. Yeah, I'm gonna get attacked, I know. But hey, you know, I'm always honest. You need to always be honest. So But yeah, it sounded like he had a cold. Like, listen to it again, like the verses, not when he like really breaks it down. That's amazing. But like the verses. No one
I think
agrees with me? Come
the
on, so
closest
one person out there has to agree with me. It's a great song. Don't get me wrong. When it came out, I played it like over and over again. But I was 14. But you know,
I mean, I think I don't know if it's the song he said he had to hide behind a couch to sing it or something like
yeah,
that.
he had to
And I
turn the lights off, I think. Yeah.
yeah, to sing it so that to him it was such a tender song. Man, he was still young back then, but that's
To
you could
me,
listen to that and think,
Human Nature to me is a better song. I like, even though Michael didn't write that one either, but still,
yeah,
that song to me, when I first heard it, man, his voice, he's like whispering, and it gave me chills, Human Nature. And then he did it in concert. It was amazing. Human Nature is one of the best songs. It's not on my list, but it is one of the best songs ever written. And it's one of his best vocal performances as well, because he's singing it in a whisper. And I love that. Mariah Carey in her early years, she used to sing in a whisper. And that's what made her, to me, really special in her early albums. It's like this whispery type of voice, but it's powerful. Even though it's a whisper, it's a powerful whisper. And it's just so
yeah.
sexy.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, he has a code singing the lady in my life. You said you thought he had a code?
To me, I mean, okay, go listen to it again. And you guys who are disagreeing with me, which is probably all of you, but I don't care. I'll be the black sheep here.
Lady.
Listen to it again and see if during the verses, if it doesn't sound like he has a cold or something. It really does.
Okay.
Hey, it's a great song. Don't get me wrong. It's a great song, but that kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
So my number one, and I think
Your number one.
people who have followed me, they know what my number one song is. It's just the most powerful song he has ever written. He wrote it, wrote all the lyrics. His singing is just like so powerful. And I'll never forget the first time I heard this song, Michael was there. He came to our office to play his Dangerous album.
Okay,
and
Dangerous.
So I heard all the Dangerous album songs for the first time with Michael. So I remember the Time, and all these songs. I mean, they were all amazing. Dangerous is my favorite album, as I said, but the song that just stuck out the most to me, when the lyrics of the chorus came on and he started just belting out, "Love is a feeling. Give it when I want it." You guys know. A lot of people already know. Give it when I want it. Love is a feeling. Give it when I want it. Oh my God. When he started singing that chorus, I just almost died. I was like, "Oh, Michael's singing this? What?" Because before that, he hadn't really, done such a sexy song, like that, with so much feeling. Oh my God! I remember. I remember he went on tour. Because whenever he would go on tour, I would miss him and like everyone that was surrounding the tour, because they would be gone for like months and months and months. And I used to get in my car. I had like a convertible Honda Del Sol at the time, and I would listen to "Give In to Me" blasting over and over. And I'll never forget. I would drive down Laurel Canyon, which is this windy street that I used to have to drive down to get to work for Michael's managers. And every morning and every night, it would be given to me in my car, and I would blast it. And I used to imagine the video for that. I was like, Michael needs to make a video for this song. Can you imagine if he did a "Give In to Me" video? I mean, that I still have the video in my mind that I imagined. But I mean, he did do a "Give In to Me" video. He did do one, but it was just him basically in concert. He looks amazing. Michael, by the way, loved the way he looked in that "Give In to Me" video, and he did look amazing. That's one of like his favorite looks that he ever had. On the other hand, the "Who Is It" video, which I feel he looked amazing in, he hated. He hated the way he looked in that video, even though he looked so good. I'll never forget. He got like the dailies of when you do a video every day. You can like get dailies, and dailies are the daily pieces of film that you shoot every day. So he got the dailies for the Who Is It video, and he just he freaked out. He called the office crying, literally crying, because he hated the way he looked in the video. And he was begging my boss, Sandy, to ask Sony to reshoot the whole video. And to, or if they weren't going to reshoot it, he wanted them to, in post-production, make him look the way he wanted to look. Even though he already looked amazing. So Sony was like, no, it's too expensive. We're not going to do that. So they didn't do it, and he refused to come back to the set. He just stopped going. He was like, well, I'm not doing the video. So they had to use E. Casanova in his place. So the shots in Who Is It video that aren't like his face, it's not him, it's E. Casanova. Michael is only seen really in those close-up shots and some other
in the
shots.
car, again on a plane. Yeah, again on a plane. It wasn't my favorite video because he didn't interact with anyone. He was just seemed.
It wasn't him. Most of those scenes was not actually Michael.
That makes sense because
he was so upset. I was like, what's wrong? You know, I did not know what was wrong with him, and come to find out that's what was wrong with him. He just didn't like the way he looked in it. But we all, like as a management team, we watched it and we were like, what is he talking about? He looks amazing in this video, you know. So he
did. Well, he looked. The reason probably why I don't like the video because he seemed sad in the video, and it comes across as a very sad video. And now that you're telling us that he didn't like the video himself, it kind of makes sense that he actually. So it's hard to watch it to not feel sad. And so the fact that he actually wasn't happy about it now makes sense because it was, it's about somebody cheating on him, but he just throughout the whole thing. I mean, he's had other songs, but that was the first sort of she's cheating on me kind of thing, and I'm not happy about it that he's ever come up with. But it just seems so sad. So I don't watch it a lot. In fact, I can't remember the last time I've actually seen it.
Yeah.
Just because, and now you've said that he wasn't happy about it, he wasn't really into it. Maybe that's the vibe I've picked up from it and stuff.
Yeah, you could tell. Well, because he wasn't in a lot of it, even though you thought it may have been him, it really wasn't him. Unless you saw his face, there's a good chance that wasn't him. Like if it was just his body or a faraway shot.
Yeah.
It was Casanova actually. So
I might go back and watch it again.
I mean, he said he felt he looked like a monkey in the video, but he didn't. He looked handsome.
Oh well, yeah. I guess you're just in that sense where you know that I'm not happy in what I'm doing, but it's a sad video, and I don't know why he even released it.
I liked it. Like as management, we liked that video because it was sexy. It was different for him. I think David Fincher, did it. I think he was the director. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think it was David Fincher, who is an amazing director. He did a lot of Madonna's videos, and he was like the hot director of the time. But for some reason, he and Michael didn't really get along. Didn't like the way he was shooting him. But when Michael got along with directors, like in the video that I did, or short films that I did, Ghosts in particular, he and Stan Winston had a great relationship. And that made the whole thing just a pleasure to work on, because he and Stan had a good relationship and he was happy, and it was smooth. And it's night and day. Like when Michael's not happy, the whole set isn't happy. But when he's happy, it's just like the best thing ever. So I was blessed to be able to work with him on some sets where he was happy.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that you've invited me in for this birthday countdown.
Yeah,
I
had
know a lot of
fun.
you.
Thank you for joining me.
I'm sure. I'm
And
sure a lot of people would be disappointed.
if people want to watch the interview that we did, which was like 2 hours long, and it was just amazing, where can they find that on your YouTube?
Yeah, if they search halftime chats, halftime chats on YouTube. It's or even in my the link is in my bio. But yeah, and I think that the one thing that I really wanted to understand is that your story from Washington D.C. to Hollywood. It's I lived in America 10 years. I never made it or got into any movies or met famous people like yourself. Could have even done a half an hour on just David Copperfield himself. I mean,
Right.
trying to understand the tricks of the trades. But and so it was great to know that you've had such a not just an amazing life, but an amazing vision about what you wanted to do, and you didn't let anything stop you.
Thank you.
And I guess a lot of people just sort of forget that and focus on one element of your amazing life. So yeah, it was an honor to listen and to hear and stuff.
So halftime chat. Search on YouTube for Halftime Chat. That's the name of his YouTube channel. And the interview we did is just one of my favorites ever. You'll learn a lot.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Well, good as well. I'm going to be going, but yes, appreciate the time and stuff. We'll probably come back and do something else, but really appreciate this and stuff.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Have a good night.